Senior NFL insider for NFL Network. Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the program, Ian Rapoport.
Hey,
What's up? What's going on?
Rap, how you doing? I'm trying to get all these lights out of the back so it doesn't, shine in your face. But the
You
lights
look,
are always
you
shining
look
whenever
good.
Ian Rapoport's around. Thank you, buddy. Hey, Rap, couple things we need to clear up here
Okay.
since Big Night Out because we haven't been on.
Yep.
First of all, we love you. Second of all, TJ
Love you
Watt.
too.
We talked about this earlier in the hour. We don't know what it means. Cohen said that he has heard that TJ wants more than Myles Garrett, which is like $4.8 million a year. And if you're TJ, I think that would certainly be a competition piece between Myles Garrett and yourself, which has obviously been defensive MVP, yada yada, sack, all that stuff for like the better part of the last decade here. What do you know about this situation? Deal not getting done between TJ and the Steelers, Ian? Is that a potential reality at this point?
Well, it's hard to imagine that's a potential reality because when the Steelers have wanted to sign a player and the Steelers have wanted to commit to a guy, generally they have got it done. Now, it's not always on the timeline we all want, right? Like it's not always on the timeline of like right now where I could just hit send on the tweet and just kind of move on from there. A lot of times these deals happen right before training camps. Because remember, the Steelers have a policy of not negotiating into the season. So right before training camp is a time, and then right before the season is a time. Like there have been deals that have gotten done in Pittsburgh, I think like the Saturday night before the season. So there is time. Now, if TJ Watt wants to be paid more than Myles Garrett, I would say that makes sense. I mean, you could argue who's better. You could argue if you were fielding a team, who would you rather have? But you really can't argue that the statistics are that much different. I mean, there are two premium elite pass rushers, still in their prime, even though both are a little bit older than, the early 20s or whatever. I would imagine that's what he's shooting for. Will he get it? I don't know, because that's more of a decision like at some point in the process, does he go, all right, I have enough and we're okay. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he's aiming for. And that's kind of what this offseason has been about because Micah Parsons is aiming for the same.
Well, the interesting thing here is Jimmy Haslam, yet again, is putting other teams' ownerships in a bind with wild contracts. Did it with Deshaun Watson, and I thought it was maybe like he was trying to big bank take little bank convo. Now with Myles Garrett, knowing that there's a bunch of defensive ends that need to be paid, like, all right, I'll pay him quarterback money, see if everybody else can keep up. We might suck. Hey, we might suck, but everybody else won't be able to keep up. We can ruin other people's teams, too. Let's talk about two deals that did get done recently. Go ahead, DB.
Yeah, two big deals in the slot, specifically Kyler Gordon out in Chicago and Jalen Pitre down in Houston. Both signed two pretty big deals. I didn't expect these type of deals to be done at this point in the game. Should we expect any more that are in the pipeline? And what do you know about the actual details of these deals?
First of all, these deals are related, right? So Pitre is interesting because he's more of a safety, but he's become like, I think it's like 66% in the slot or something. Yep. It's a lot, right? And so you could sort of call him whatever you want. And I called him a safety in my tweet, but he's really like an awesome nickel.
Slot.
Yeah, and I would say Kyler Gordon's kind of the same. So one gets done, and then if you're Kyler Gordon, you're fighting for this money, and again, really good money for a really good player. It's easier to say like, all right, this contract that I said I deserved, this guy who does similar to me, he got it. So like, I should be right there. And I think the Bears were kind of like, all right, that's where the market is. I would also say for the Bears, I mean, actually for both of these teams, it's like a really good draft pick, pretty high, who does everything right, is a good person, makes a ton of plays, and gets paid. Like, as an organization, these are the guys you are dying to pay. And, like, you can see the comments from Ryan Poles the last couple of weeks. Like, he has wanted to pay Kyler Gordon, and I'm happy that this deal got done for him.
D-But, do we want the insiders to start reporting them as nickel? Do we want that, or what do we want?
Good question, actually.
These guys are football players, slot defenders. Derwin James is another guy who's a safety but play, majority of his snaps in the slot. A lot of guys, you just add value. I'm happy to see these guys finally getting paid like this. Kenny Moore is a guy. Jordan Lewis got paid in Dallas that reported that he was, the highest deal. So now to see Kyler and Jalen get their money. But these guys can move around. They can impact and help a football team. Tyrann Mathieu has done this for a long time. Jalen Ramsey, all these guys can move around and just add tremendous value when they can go in that. But Slot defender, safety, they're great football players overall.
Yeah, but like, should we start building that brand a little bit here? Should whenever it gets reported by Rapoport say, "Hey, to whatever you want this to be called position," because I believe you play this position, obviously
Yep.
amongst many other positions. It is a high. It's the nickel. You
Yeah.
know, it's the safety, the secondary member that's coming in for the linebacker has to be able to tackle, has to be able to read, has to be able to play inside
It
and
needs a
outside.
better name.
I mean,
That's the
it's,
problem.
I
It needs
agree.
better branding.
It does. It does. I mean, they're slot defenders. And some guys are full-time players, so they're going to be on the field. Like I said, Derwin James is never going to come off the field. Pitre pretty much isn't going to come off the field. And then you have other guys who just come in and substitute and maybe play 70% of the snaps, depending on the team. Like a team like the Buffalo Bills with Terry Johnson,
Yikes.
they play almost every snap in nickel. So, hey, leave AR on. It's a different year, all right? So they play every
I
snap.
saw that.
But
Oh, great break.
this isn't the NFL that we came into. Now, nickel and slot defenders are pretty much starters on the defensive side of the ball. You play with 5 DBs, most of the time how the NFL has been.
That's what I'm saying, but we need a name for it.
I mean, they're slot
Like
slot
colleges,
defenders.
like colleges call it like star or rover.
Star, yeah, that's like
I
a
like
Nick Saban
Star.
thing.
What are
yeah.
they on the All-Pro list? Are they just slot?
Just slot. Yeah.
All right, slots. Hey,
There you go.
there's good slots out there getting paid.
So many
I'm happy for them. I am very, very happy that they're getting paid. Now, there's other stuff happening around the NFL. Ron Man, your question for Rap.
Yeah, rap sheet. Other big news: Derek Carr questionable now for this season with the shoulder injury. He might be done. Is there a chance the Saints now look to move up in the draft to kind of get a younger guy who kind of fit their cap space as well? Do you think that's a possibility, or do you think they're probably going to stay at 9 or even possibly get in on the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes?
All right, we'll hit the Rodgers one first. I would imagine if you're the Saints, first of all, this hurts them cap wise, if only because it's $40 million allocated to a guy who may not end up playing for you, right? Like there is a possibility that Derek Carr does not play this season. That is real. Like, that is real. He may have surgery. He has a decision to make. That is all real.
What happened?
Yeah, and how long have we known, Rap?
Okay. This has been just being totally honest, this has been a difficult one for me to figure out. Like, I know the status of his shoulder now. He is currently deciding, seeking medical opinions, seeing if he needs to have surgery. I have heard varying views, reports, facts, whatever you want to call it, about when this actually happened. Was it something that he had been dealing with that worsened? Was it something that he hurt when he broke his left hand late in the season, whenever that was, and just, still is bothering him? Is it just wear and tear and just can't go forward? Like, just to be totally honest, like there are a lot of questions that I don't really have right now. And I think the Saints, I believe, knew, but a lot of their players did not know. And so when this news happened, like, I think for a lot of people who either are with the Saints or are closest, we're kind of like, hold on, what? Like, wait, what? Like, that's how this news felt. And so, like, you talk about the impact on the draft, like, pretty real. Like, rarely do you get an injury like this that really does dramatically impact the draft. But if you're the Saints, like, if you were debating, do we take this guy at 9 or take him in the second round, like, might this make you move it forward? I think possibly it could.
Go ahead, AJ.
What about the Aaron Rodgers situation? You didn't really mention that too much. Like, is he a possibility? Is he in play here for Kellen Moore as a first-year head coach?
I meant to mention that, but then my brain got sidetracked. That happened.
That was on me because I said, "What happened? What happened? What happened?" Yeah,
Sorry,
100% my
sorry.
fault.
Team effort.
Yeah.
If you're Aaron Rodgers and you have the option, and I believe it would be an option. He couldn't make a lot of money there, but I believe they could work something out if they wanted to. If you're Aaron Rodgers, would you rather join the Saints, who obviously do have a quarterback need, or join the Steelers? I think that's kind of where it is to me. Like, are the Saints? I think the Saints are going to be better than people believe if they do get a quarterback. But if you're Aaron Rodgers, doesn't the Steelers make more sense to you than the Saints do?
I don't know.
I don't know. We're asking you.
Division's a lot better.
So Steelers
Division-
definitely
so-
prideful city, great city. We were in it last week. We absolutely love the Pittsburgh area and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger
Division's
so
different.
incredibly
Yeah.
Yeah, division very different down there in the NFC South. And also, not to knock on anybody in the NFC South, but Saints fans, like if Aaron would come in and do good,
Oh
you know,
my
like
gosh.
very pumped probably. And I think like him coming down there, probably very pumped all. You know what I mean?
Governor
Like,
Jeff Landry, his gator.
Governor Jeff Landry would be. I mean, like I think, you know, they celebrate down there too. You know, from what we've found out, that's good. Like I don't know, interesting. I don't know if AJ would know. AJ asking you that question is probably the best part of this whole thing because AJ's trying to see what you know that he already knows in the back. But we will continue to keep an eye on all those situations. Let's talk about the NFL saying you ain't just going to be terrible at your job anymore and do it anymore. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Rap, we
All
heard
right.
that 3 officials have been fired or I guess demoted to power conferences in what's been called an accountability crackdown. Do you know more about this situation? Should we expect more of this to happen leading up to the season, or did they just basically find 3 people and say, like, hey, you guys suck at your jobs, get the hell out and never come back?
I can't confirm the language that was used in these. Sorry, I got flies going on here. It's fine. I can't confirm the language, nor do I have knowledge of that. But you know, this goes on a lot, where the NFL grades these officials, and like a lot of times we don't. You know, the only way we can really tell how an official is graded is who gets to be in the playoffs. But I think this does happen. It's just we don't really hear about it. Like I'm not sure who reported this, but there's like a couple pretty good websites, Twitter accounts that follow the refs really, really closely. And sometimes like they're the only ones who notice. But there are officials who are just not cutting it. And sometimes they leave the business. Sometimes they get reassigned. So I noticed this. It was noteworthy, but I don't think it's that rare.
Interesting.
Rap Sheet, where are you? That's look like the most peaceful. Like first off, your audio sounds amazing. And where are you? Is that your house? New house?
No, I wish it was my house. No, I'm in Mississippi with my wife and our kids and her family. It's spring break, so I came down here for like 2 days to hang out, see all the relatives, eat some chicken and dumplings and some amazing food. And then I'm flying out this afternoon to get back to work.
Well, thank you for joining us live from Mississippi, Queen. That state is a beautiful one. You know, they love me down there.
Right? Like this is awesome. My kids have been fishing all day. It's great. It's great.
Oh, really?
You take
They
the
learned
fish-
that out of camp in the summer. Whenever
That's among the many things that help them grow as people. They do learn.
Oh, yeah, they learn more than just.
when is that summer camp that you kick your kids out of your house for 4 weeks or 8 weeks? I'm sorry.
12.
Not soon enough.
Jesus.
Come back.
All right, thank you,
I'm
ladies
just-
and
that
gentlemen.
was
Ian
obviously-
Rapoport.
Oh, no.
Ian Rapoport.
Rap Sheet.
Dad of the year.
We love rap.